You are such a genuine gem. Thank you for clicking on my video. I'm Brooke McKenna, but today's case is about Destiny Harrison, the murder inside a Black-owned salon. The ultimate girl boss, a woman who was a role model and inspiration to so many. Why was her life tragically cut short? Why was nothing done when she asked for help? And who is responsible? By the way, I post so much content like this. It is my absolute passion to tell these stories, and I mean no harm or disrespect when I do so. So if it's something you would like to support me in doing, all you have to do is make sure you are subscribed with the post notification bell on, leaving a thumbs up, and leaving a nice comment down below. Now, I also want to thank today's sponsor, which is Function of Beauty. And as a hairstylist myself, I was really excited when they reached out to see if I would want to try their products. So Function of Beauty is a customizable hair care brand where you can choose the color, the fragrance, and the actually unique formula of your products based on what kind of hair you have or what kind of things that you want to work on with your hair. So basically you do a short 2-minute quiz, and I chose that I wanted color protection, oil control, and volume for my fine, wavy, oily hair. Now this is what I received, and as you can tell, I have used quite a lot of this because since I am a hairstylist, I have tried so many different companies and hairstyling products, and so I really wanted to make sure that this is something that I would recommend to my clients and to you guys. I not only feel like my hair is healthier, but it also feels so much more lightweight. And something I really love is that you actually customize what name you want on the side of the bottle, so it will say function of, and then most people do put their name, but instead I wanted to put gems because I want basically everything in my life to remind me of you guys, and I know it's cheesy, but I literally had them write function of gems. Can you see that? And if you want to get that too, that would be so incredible. We could have little matching bottles, but you can also just get your name if you'd rather have that. It truly is really good products, and I will actually write down below exactly what formula I used in case you guys have hair like mine and want to try out my exact formula. I've just been really enjoying this stuff, and if you want 20% off, there will be a link down below. They can deliver to your door, which is wonderful right now. I have also decided that a portion of my sponsorship revenue will be going to a Black Women Build charity that is in Baltimore. Now this charity actually works with Black women on home ownership and to develop trade-related skills in home renovation in hopes to build community and wealth within the Black women's community. And I thought this was really fitting for this case because, as we will see, Baltimore is a very, very rough place and scary place, especially for Black women, and that's really everywhere in the world. So I think anything we can do to uplift them and support them is needed. So you will know a little bit more about what I'm talking about throughout this case. If you want to donate, there will be a link down below where you can. But thanks to you guys being here to support me, I get sponsorships in which I am able to give back. So I do want to say thank you to you for supporting me and helping me be able to give to such wonderful causes like the Black Women's Build charity. So yeah, let's get back to the story. So it was 2019 in Maryland, and Destiny Harrison lived in Baltimore. She had actually been born on April 16th, 1998, and was 21 years old at this time. Destiny was known as a friendly gem of a woman. That's right, a complete unique individual, and she worked hard to get what she wanted, and nothing was going to stop her. Her main passion in life was actually hair, and she went to that full force. You see, her high school, she had gone to the Mergenthaler Vocational Technical High School, and this was actually way different than a normal public school. This is where students could actually learn technical skills to be able to go on and, with whatever certificate they had, work at a job straight out of high school that would pay them, way more than just a minimum wage job in most cases. One of the programs they had was cosmetology, and so this is what Destiny did. She studied all through high school to be a cosmetologist, and then right after she took her boards where she became a licensed cosmetologist. And of course, We know she loved doing hair, but it wasn't just that she loved it. She was also really good at it. Even while learning, she would get asked by her fellow classmates if she could do their hair because they saw how good she was, and she wasn't even graduated yet. So she obviously just had a talent for this, like it was her life purpose. So right out of high school, she already had her license to be a cosmetologist, and when she began getting experience in a salon, she was also working 2 other jobs at Popeyes and Walmart in order to make the money that she wanted. And Destiny was so driven that she actually decided to go on to college and study at the Bowie State University and major in business management and minor in fashion design. She would be paying for all of this herself, and so she knew that she still needed to be working while going to school, and that's when she got a job at Victoria's Secret. Now, she was still really good in school. She got straight A's, she did the best she could do, studying all the time instead of partying, and even with all of this on her plate, Destiny was determined to do more. So at this point, she began getting into the social media world and knew that this could be so beneficial for her next step in life. So she opened up this Instagram page called I'm Slayed by Des, and this is where she would start putting pictures of her clients and what she could do with hair and the magic that she could create. This began to get very popular. Everybody in Baltimore wanted Destiny to do their hair. Now, through this Instagram, you can really see her life story from the beginning of when she started posting and was still in college. Now, a YouTuber named Paris Milan did a wonderful job in finding all of these posts and kind of putting them in chronological order and just kind of telling her story. So I will have that video linked down below that you can watch because it was really eye-opening and you could see just what it took for Destiny to get to the place she wanted to be. So when Destiny was only 18 years old, she became the owner of her own salon. She would go on to own a glitz and glam studio as well as a hair trap, and in 2017 Destiny was 19 years old when she would create a website called Madame D Collection. Now this is where she sold all of her hair care products as well as lashes. Yet even though Destiny was getting successful, working so hard, seeing the success that she had always dreamed of, she also knew that she needed to slow down in certain aspects of her life. And in an Instagram post around this time, she wrote, "Some of us are between 19 to 22 years old trying to live a 30-year-old lifestyle. Enjoy college, enjoy being single, enjoy being kid-free. Go on random road trips, study hard, casually date, meet different people, and simply have fun. We'll get to be in our 30s driving expensive cars, living in big houses with our MDs and PhDs one day. But until that day comes, let's cherish our youthful years to the fullest without a care in the world. Don't try and grow up too fast. Enjoy being young. We won't be this way forever." The next year, in March of 2018, Destiny would be blessed with a pregnancy. This was with her man Dante, and Destiny was so excited. She didn't see having a baby as something that would hold her back from her dreams, and that September she would give birth to a baby girl that they named Dream. She was a healthy baby girl, and Destiny adored her daughter so incredibly much. She had a wonderful knack at being a mother as well. She was also passionate about being an entrepreneur though, and because mothers can do both and can succeed at both, she went back to work. This time, it was 2019, and she would open up her very own salon. This was in the 200 block of N Milton Avenue in McElderberry Park neighborhood. And it was called Madame D's Beauty Bar. Now, if you haven't caught on yet, Madame D is what all of her clients knew her as because she was just so good that everyone thought that she needed a name that suited her more than just Destiny. So that is what they would call her. This salon was extremely popular. Everybody wanted Madame D to do their hair, and Destiny began to bring in Dream, her daughter, to work to be able to watch her do her thing. And Destiny had always dreamed that she would be that successful, and she was finally seeing it, not just in little ways but in the big ones as well. She was taking on celebrity clients, she was getting to travel, she bought herself a bright red Mercedes Benz, and she was also saving up for a home at this point. She was happy, but she was always reaching for more. That was just destiny. But on December 21st of that year, all of that would be ripped away. You see, that evening at around 6:12 p.m., Destiny was working inside of her salon, thought to have, tons of customers in there getting their hair done, when an individual entered and shot her in the head. It was believed she was shot multiple times. Even more horrific, her 1-year-old daughter, Dream, was left at the scene alone. Authorities were called, and when they got there, they rushed Destiny to the hospital, but that is where she was pronounced dead. Unfortunately, there were no surveillance cameras in or around the salon that could point to anyone, and Colonel Briscoe told media outlets shortly after this, "We do know that there were other people present at the time, so anyone who may have seen anything at all, no matter how small, please share that information." I know that there is a conversation happening out on social media. This is not the investigative conversation. Destiny's mother, Raquel, told the media that when this happened, everybody in the salon just scattered, leaving the baby there alone. And the baby, Destiny's daughter, Dream, was actually taken into custody of Child Protective Services at this time. Now, there was said to be a culture in Baltimore that made everybody fear coming forward and being called a snitch. Now, everyone tended to stay away from police or crime or murder because they didn't want it to happen to them next. This is believed to be what happened in Destiny's case. The people who loved and adored her were now saying nothing, even though they had witnessed who had taken her life. This successful black woman, boss babe, and wonderful mother was now gone. Her funeral costs were paid for by 2-time world champion super featherweight boxer Gervonta Davis, and he was also from Baltimore, which is how he heard about this case. But that is when something interesting was found in this investigation. That was court documents having to do with Destiny and her salon. This said that just 12 days before her murder on December 9th, Destiny walked into her salon and saw 2 individuals in the back trying to steal her merchandise. You see, she had these bundles of hair that were worth about $3,000 because they were real hair, and they were trying to take these from her. And Destiny actually filed charges against them that she was held down by one of the individuals and hit and stomped on by the other when she demanded to get her stuff back. And they were said to actually get these extensions and run out, leaving Destiny in her shop, hurt. Now, her statement that she made to the courts said, "I walked in the back and seen blank standing near the door. I also seen his girlfriend holding a bucket when he blocks the door. The bucket had my hair bundles I sell." Then it goes on to say, blank proceeds to swing. While she is swinging, blank grabs me and holds me down so blank can finish hitting and stomp me. Then they ran. It also said, "I'm sure they picked the lock to the door and I'm scared for my life and business. I believe they did it because they was getting evicted for not paying rent." Destiny also allegedly told them that she believed these 2 individuals lived near her salon and she knew who they were. Of course, that's why she speculated that they hadn't been able to pay rent and they were being evicted, and that's why they were stealing. Now, she also told them that one of these individuals had a violent background and that she was scared for herself and the others at the salon. These 2 turned out to be a man and a woman who were a couple who lived next door to Destiny, and this was near the salon. They were charged with assault, theft, and burglary, and Destiny also filed a restraining order against them, or at least against the man, but this was issued 10 days later on December 19th, and 2 days after that she would be murdered. Did these 2 things correlate? Or were they simply coincidences? Did this man get a restraining order where he was not allowed to go anywhere near her or the salon and get angry about this and took her life instead? People close to Destiny also told investigators at this point that after this happened, she was so afraid to go into her own salon that she worked so hard for because it gave her so much anxiety. And yet nobody did anything. Now, although this couple's name was hidden at first, it has since been released on multiple different platforms. They were said to be Denia Dobbins and Glenn Keller. They lived together, they were a couple, and Denia was also a hair and makeup artist. She was also pregnant at the time of the murder. It was theorized that this couple expecting their first child were low on money, and they knew how much Destiny's inventory could make them. With Denia being a hairstylist herself, she knew that she could sell this hair under the radar because everyone would believe that she would have just had it herself and wouldn't need to steal from somebody else. But as for the motive for murder, the main theory is that they were angry that she had filed these charges because they were being taken to trial in January of 2020. And some believe that they actually ended up killing her because they knew she would testify against them at court, and they wanted to silence her. However, there is no evidence linking them to the murder of Destiny, so they can't be arrested or charged with her murder. Destiny's mother, Raquel, was able to get her daughter Dream, and she now has full custody of her, and she will be taking care of her until she's 18. And Raquel said about Destiny, "My baby is still with me. I still feel her all around. We've got her daughter, and she's definitely going to live through me, and her daughter's going to know her mother." Her uncle and mother have both spoke to media outlets, especially when this first happened, to try to keep her case alive in the public.
She was my heart. All of us love her greatly. A go-getter. As you can see, she built this from the ground up. No respect for women whatsoever. To do this to a defenseless young lady who doesn't harm anyone, love everyone, it's senseless. Somebody got to know something. Please come forward. You need to get these demonic souls here. They need to pay for their crime. There's no doubt about that. In the name of Jesus, there's no doubt.
She just was a sweet person. She was ambitious. She just wanted to do what she loved. She wanted to do hair and be a mother.
Now, Baltimore is said to have a high homicide rate, and it even beat its own record last year in 2019 when this happened, because there was actually said to be 338 killings in 1 year, and there are tons that haven't been solved because nobody will speak, just like in this case. There was a woman named Bailey Reeves, who was only 17 years old, who would be murdered. This happened 4 months prior to Destiny's murder on September 2nd. Bailey was at the 4300 block of Parkwood Avenue for Labor Day weekend with some friends. Now, police were called after some teens had been inside their homes cooking dinner when they began to hear screams. They heard 3 gunshots and then a girl screaming, "My friend, someone help my friend, call 911. And then they found outside of their home that Bailey Reeves was in a pool of her own blood in the street. Her friends were walking around screaming and crying, and Bailey had been shot in the torso and taken to the hospital where she died. Bailey was a black transgender woman, and she was now the 17th transgender woman to be murdered last year. Also, she was the 5th shooting in Baltimore to happen that night. The teens who found her body said, "It's Baltimore. You hear stuff about this every day, but you can't imagine really seeing it. Being there at that moment is a whole different aspect of it. I'm just tired of little kids, people my age, getting shot and killed for no reason. This violence has got to stop." At this point, Mayor Jack Young even admitted that the city needed help, but they needed help from the community. He said, "They know who is doing all the shootings. They know who are doing the killings. They know who is doing the carjackings. They have to stop turning a blind eye." Not only is this a huge problem in Baltimore, but everywhere in the world, black women are targeted and receive less help than anyone else. Now, I will not sit here and pretend I know what that feels like in the slightest, because I don't. And I recognize that privilege but I have been doing some research on what Black women go through on an everyday basis. And I think it's really beneficial to hear because you get an insight into how Destiny Harrison felt this entire time, her entire life. One way is in the healthcare system, where Black women are constantly told they are fine, they are refused help unless they aggressively advocate for it for themselves. The statistics of delayed or denied diagnosis of Black women and the high mortality rates compared to white individuals is quite scary, especially when it comes to pregnancy and giving birth. Many Black women fear going to the doctor because they know that they will be told that they are fine, it will be brushed off, and they more than likely will not be given the help that they need. But that's not the only place that Black women feel less than. It can also happen at work, where pay gaps for racism and sexism exist, and combined, this is even worse for Black women who are left with the absolute bare minimum. They can be working at the same level as a white male and can be faced with assumptions and challenges and different expectations than them all around. And this is on top of being paid way less. So even though there are successful Black women, they are not treated in the same way a successful white male or white woman or even Black male would be. They often have to work 2 times harder than everyone else, and this causes less time for their family, less time for mental health, and there's so much pressure on them to work harder for their employers to see that they're working hard at all. They also struggle in general to obtain jobs in the workforce because of tokenism in business, which, if you don't know, is when a brand wants to appear that they're inclusive and they want to, have that minority group in their business. And this is really only them doing the minimal to be able to say that they are not, discriminating against anybody. And so these people just become tokens of minority groups rather than being looked at for what they're worth and their hard work and how good they are at their job. They're just there to fill this role that makes the company look better. Now, tokenism became popular in the 1950s as a term, but was still not being solved by 1963 when Malcolm X, who is a human rights activist, said, "All you have gotten is tokenism, 1 or 2 Black individuals in a job or at a lunch counter, so the rest of you will be quiet." He also said that the most unprotected, disrespected, neglected person in America is the Black woman. And just because Destiny owned her own salon didn't mean that she didn't deal with these same type of things. In fact, for being a successful Black woman, she was targeted even more out of jealousy. She wasn't just targeted by white individuals either. Black women are targeted by all races, even their own, which is what many believe happened to Destiny. This is the same reason why #sayhername is so important and has become so symbolic for Black women who are victims, because the deaths and the murders of Black women go so much more unnoticed than even Black men. And we know that Black men's deaths and murders don't go very noticed either. So imagine how much less it is for Black women. No one says their names as loudly as white individuals or Black men. And this is actually, I did a little research on why this is thought to be, and this is actually thought to go back to slavery. Black women were also slaves. However, even though they were put through endless labor, they were put through sexual assault, being torn away from their children, when these stories started to come out about what slaves went through, it was only from the men's perspective. No one wanted to hear what the women had gone through. Kimberly Crenshaw is a professor of law at UCLA, and she said that many don't have the framework to conceptualize the racist violence toward Black women because their stories have historically been erased or ignored. And that is why I'm telling you the story of Destiny today, and I want to continue to tell the stories of Black women because it is so very important. Because Destiny Harrison and Bailey Reeves Both have unsolved cases to this day, and no one has come forward with information pertaining to their murders. Now, a scholarship was made in Destiny's honor called the Destiny Dream Scholarship, and this is for individuals in the cosmetology program. They will be given $1,000 for their uniform, for board certifications, for their beauty kit. It's said about Destiny. Destiny Harrison was an entrepreneur, a mother, and a mentor to aspiring beauticians. Her death is a devastating loss. Barbers and beauticians united as part of our Healing City movement to raise funds that will help aspiring beauticians pay for cosmetology classes. Destiny's legacy will not be forgotten. Now, if you would like to donate to her scholarship fund, I will have a link down below where you can do so. There is also a petition to get justice for Destiny, which I will have linked down below as well. It takes 2 seconds to sign it, and it's so incredibly helpful. And also, if you would like to donate to the Harrison family directly and to Destiny's daughter, who is now without a mother, then there is a GoFundMe. There has also been an update in Destiny's case as of June 1st, 2020, and this is from her family, saying that a suspect has not been found, but the FBI has picked up her case, and her mother says that Dream will be in a safe environment, a loving environment, and that Destiny is at peace. But she also thanks everyone who is talking about Destiny, and she loves everyone who took the time to spread her story. So please, if you have any information on Destiny's case or on Bailey's case, call the Baltimore Police Department at 410-396-2100. Cases like this continue to happen. This was just last year. This isn't something that was in the past. This isn't something that went away years ago. Black women are still fighting for their lives and fighting just to be able to live a normal life. That's why it's important to say her name. Destiny Harrison, Bailey Reeves, Breonna Taylor, and many, many, many more. Too many, and it needs to end. I hope that I could share a little bit more in depth, as far as I can, with what Black women deal with on a daily basis. I know that I will never be able to understand or feel how they are treated, and I understand that it's probably much worse than I could even imagine or I could even tell you, but I hope that I touched the surface of it, and I did a decent job at informing, because it's ridiculous to me that we're in 2020 and this is still happening. And until we see justice for everybody and we see equality for everybody, this will not be a good world. It just won't. There's no need for this. There is no need to see anyone as less than. Black women are beautiful. Black women are smart. Black women are worthy. And it breaks my heart to know that there are little black girls growing up not knowing that they deserve love and deserve respect. Because even as little kids, they have to deal with stuff like this. Because a little Dream, she will always know that her mother was murdered. And that nobody helped her. Nobody helped her mother, and nobody helped her. She was just left there to cry. Please feel free to inform me on anything that I was mistaken on, as far as, the history or the things that Black women go through. Especially if you are a Black woman, please feel free to correct me or add on or anything. You can tell your story down below. I want this to be a very safe place for all of you. So please be kind in the comments. Please send love. That's what I always want to see down there. Not just for me, for everybody. Please just be kind to everybody. It's what the world needs, especially right now. So I know that this was a little more recent case than I normally do, and I actually thought it was solved. But when I looked into it and found that it still isn't solved, I had to do it. Don't ever forget to speak up. Your voice is powerful enough, and I love you to absolute pieces. Okay? Bye.